Hi, VencoreWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Thursday, May 18th. A particularly dangerous setup is unfolding for Oklahoma and Kansas for later today, early tonight. Looks like could unfortunately be a widespread tornado outbreak in that part of the country. I thought I'd focus on that situation over the next several minutes and talk about the ingredients that are coming together to most likely form a widespread tornado outbreak, again, centered on Oklahoma and Kansas later on today into the early part of tonight. First of all, cold air has plunged into the interior western states. Right now, Denver is having a mixture of rain and snow at 43 degrees. Just to the west of Denver, in the foothills of the Rockies, they can have a foot of snow over the next 12 to 24 hours or so. Very cold air in the interior part of the western U.S., all anchored by deep upper level low. We'll see that in a couple of minutes here, and that is one key ingredient, a deep long wave upper level low. Also, very moist air is riding to the north and northwest out of the Gulf of Mexico. Some of the dew points are already 70 degrees or above on the any one of these station models here. The lower number, for example, right here is 70, 71 right here. That's the dew point at this particular weather station. This very humid air riding up to the north and northwest into Oklahoma and Kansas. That will be another ingredient. So look at some of the temperatures out here. The Texas Panhandle right now, 48 degrees. The upper left figure on this weather station model represents the surface air temperature. In the upper 40s in the Texas Panhandle. Meanwhile, 70-degree dew points just on the other side of the state of Oklahoma, for example, northeastern Texas. These are some of the ingredients coming together that unfortunately looks like it'll be a very widespread tornado outbreak, especially focused on this region right here, and we'll talk about why, central Kansas down to central Oklahoma later today, early tonight. Well, we talked about the humidity that is expected to move into the Oklahoma-Kansas area, cold air to the west. Let's now take a look at several maps from the 12-kilometer version of the NAM. This is the 06Z run that we'll focus in on. These forecast maps are in hourly increments, starting with right now, early Thursday morning. First of all, low pressure centered out over central Colorado. All the blues here represent areas of snow right now. Areas just to the west of Denver could get clobbered by a foot of snow over the next 12 to 24 hours or so. Not much right now in the central plains here, but we'll walk through this on an hourly basis. These maps available on tropicaltidbits.com. And here we go as we progress through the morning hours here. A couple things to note. First of all, low pressure starts to form over the northern panhandle of Texas. One of the things I learned at Penn State years ago with the great Dr. Greg Forbes and Dr. John Kerr is in a potential tornado outbreak, the area closest to the center of low pressure is always dangerous, and we'll monitor where this surface low pressure rides, where the surface low pressure is the lowest in a particular area, and that's one of the main reasons why I think central Kansas, for example, all the way down to central Oklahoma is the focus of the potential tornado outbreak later today. Let's keep pushing forward here. Notice that low pressure now moving and strengthening, and here by early this evening, lowest pressure is right over here in central Kansas. Again, that's a red flag. Be forewarned in this particular area, and you'll see the lowest pressure really extends down into central Oklahoma. So again, one of the tricks to forecasting where these tornadoes may break out is to follow the area of lowest pressure. There's kind of a magical point. If you're down below 1008 millibars, that's a red flag for potential tornadic activity, as long as you have humidity levels that are high enough. So let's keep pushing a little bit forward here, and there's that low pressure right in central Kansas. Again, it kind of extends down. In fact, there's low pressure now by later this evening all the way down into central Oklahoma. So that is one of the things I'm looking at. And here is a particularly strong looking line potential tornadoes. This is not only a tornado threat, certainly hail is a strong possibility as well. So again, central Kansas down to central Oklahoma is where some of the lowest pressures will develop later on today, early tonight, a red flag for those particular areas. Well, another ingredient is deep upper level low pressure troughing, 500 millibar level. That's about halfway up in the atmosphere. Again, this is all using the 12-kilometer version of the NAM model run from 6Z in the overnight hours. And here we go, deep upper level low, diving into the interior western U.S. Again, associated with a very cold air mass for this time of the year. Significant snow for the Colorado Rockies. Let's now move forward in time here and just see that spinning with that upper level low over Colorado and those areas right in here in Kansas and Oklahoma where there's a little bit of divergence in this part of the atmosphere. This is all setting up for strong upward motion later on today into early tonight. So now we're in the late afternoon, early evening hours, and some areas of vorticity showing up here, spin in the atmosphere. Again, that is a contributing factor to a potential tornado outbreak here. Again, central Kansas down to central Oklahoma, and of course all of Kansas, all of Oklahoma should be on guard, but particularly in the central part of these states as we move forward here, that deep upper level low diving right into the Four Corners region, and again a snowstorm for the Colorado Rockies. So we have snow in Denver and areas to the west, 90 plus degrees here in the I-95 corridor. The clash area in between the cold to the west and the very warm to the east is right here in the southern plains for later today and early tonight. Well, a couple other factors that you'd like to take a look at to see the possibility of severe weather is jet streaks in the atmosphere, both in the upper part of the atmosphere and the lower levels. Maybe 850 millibars, for example, in the lower levels, and the upper levels 250 or 300 millibar level. This is the forecast again from the 12-kilometer NAM for the 250 millibar upper level jet streak later today. And here we go. This is actually for the forecast for early this morning, Thursday morning, and here we go. This is a jet streak on the eastern flank of that deep upper level low situated over the interior west, and it just feeds right into the Kansas, Oklahoma area. This will provide some tremendous upward support, and again, this is just another ingredient that looks like it will help to destabilize the atmosphere later on today. Here we are into late this evening now, and a very strong upper level jet streak feeding right into the Oklahoma, Kansas atmosphere. This will provide some upper level support, and these strong winds in the atmosphere, both in the lower levels and the upper levels, will contribute to shear, which looks like it will unfortunately be sufficient enough to cause a widespread tornado outbreak later on today. Well, the last parameter I want to take a look at here is the lower level jet streak at 850 millibars. Again, another important ingredient to the potential for severe weather. And let's just walk through this forecast map for early this morning. We're walking through on an hourly basis, and here we go. Very strong winds in the lower part of the atmosphere. We're talking about a couple thousand feet up, and these are the forecast maps, but they suggest there is a jet streak at 850 millibars riding right into Oklahoma and Kansas, and there's low pressure also down at the surface. We talked about that earlier on. So all the ingredients are coming together, unfortunately, and here's early this evening, very strong winds in the lower part of the atmosphere, and then that low pressure area at the surface jumps right into central Kansas. Strong winds in the lower part of the atmosphere. This is a particularly dangerous time late this afternoon, early this evening, from central Kansas down to central Oklahoma. Again, just wanted to emphasize all the ingredients seem to be coming together for a tornado outbreak later today, early tonight, across Kansas and Oklahoma. Specifically, the central part of Kansas down to central Oklahoma is particularly worrisome. Stay tuned to Vencore Weather for any updates later today. That's it for now. I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.